From finding his peace all the way to becoming a guardian of love, Chris Hemsworth's Thor has seen so much growth since his debut in the MCU, and with 4 standalone movies under his belt, the only character so far to achieve this feat, there might be a 5th movie already being set up for the future of the MCU, one that will see one of the biggest clashes of all time, especially now since Hercules' Zeus joined the fray and is ready to take over humankind. The only superhero from the MCU to have 4 standalone movies is Thor, and strangely enough, Chris Hemsworth might be aiming to headline yet another movie featuring the God of Thunder. Yes, we know that it might be too early to tell, seeing how the 4th movie of his, Thor Love and Thunder, just dropped. But hear us out before the judging comes. So, before we move forward, we should warn you that there will be spoilers up ahead in the video, both regarding Thor as a character and the latest Thor Love and Thunder movie. And with that out of the way, let's continue. The movie itself shows no signs of age in the God of Thunder. In fact, the latest movie might also suggest the idea that Hemsworth's Thor could go on forever, or at least for another movie that sets up one almighty showdown between him and yet another superhero from the MCU, who is on a similar power level as his. While the likes of Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans have moved on from the MCU, and their starry roles of the characters they portrayed for a number of movies, characters they brought to life and resonate with them, Hemsworth's tenure continues. And when Chris was asked about how long he will play the character and the most famous role of his career, he was very quick on his feet to address the topic and said that he would stay for the role as long as he is wanted by Marvel Studios. This is such good news, if a little vague, but it feels like we might be getting another Thor movie sometime in the future, or an Avengers movie featuring Thor. Something that might test the God of Thunder in ways that he has yet to experience. So, with all of this in mind, what are all the news, rumors, and speculations about a potential 5th Thor movie? And which version could we get moving forward with the MCU? Before we move forward with the other important details, let's stick around a bit for Chris Hemsworth and his take on all of this. After the post-credit scenes of Thor Love and Thunder, the sequel proclaims that Thor will return. But we are not certain if that will be in another group project or yet another standalone movie. Given Jane Fonda's fate at the end of the movie, it seems inevitable that the promise given is solely addressed towards Thor himself, with the actor hinting toward the fact that he is not leaving the MCU yet. Interviews before the movie even dropped saw Hemsworth's enthusiasm for playing the role, even before the most challenging MCU sequel dropped. And while there is no concrete announcement just yet, the promise of his return, put together with the story of the latest movie, guarantees his involvement in Brett Goldstein's MCU story as Hercules. So far, nothing has been confirmed about a 5th Thor movie, but the elements are there. And if you don't see them yet, we are here to help guide you through it. One thing to note though is that we cannot forget about the man pulling all the strings, Taika Waititi, who proves himself time and time again, with every next project with him at the helm exceeding all of the expectations. Sadly, there has been no news from him about his take on a potential 5th movie. However, seeing how things panned out, we don't see a single reason to assume that Taika would step away if the chance is given to him. Up until this point, Chris and Taika have made 2 movies together, and it feels like the two are a match made in heaven. So, barring any future unforeseen circumstances, we think that there is no doubt that if a 5th Thor movie is given the green light, that there will be any other director to take Taika's place at the helm of things. The ending of Thor is somewhat confusing, but after a deeper exploration of the meaning of the title of the movie itself, we can clearly see that Korg's voiceover at the end of the movie belatedly confirms that the title refers to the God of Thunder and his adoptive daughter/niece, Love, who is Gor's revived daughter. Born of eternity, the child boasts incredible cosmic powers and teams up with Uncle Thor to ride into battle. This alone could be taken into consideration as an early setup for a potential 5th movie, with the entire thing not being that concrete, leaving the door open for so many possibilities, and in which way Marvel eventually decides to go with the character. The mid-credits scene, on the other hand, sees Zeus instructing his son Hercules to kill Thor, offering yet another take on the story to be in the still not confirmed Thor 5th movie. The battle between these 2 big game players in the Marvel Universe would be the battle to end it all, especially given the power the 2 hold in their hands. So when could we get the next Thor movie? Well, as it stands right now, Outside of all the events that need to happen before an eventual Thor movie, the most important thing standing in the way of that project is surely Taika Waititi's schedule. That is, if the director stays on, with him juggling many upcoming projects along the way. It is still too early to tell. However, if the movie gets confirmed, seeing how busy Taika's schedule is, including his works with the likes of Next Go Wins, Tower of Terror, and his take on the End Call, Werewolves, and many other Star Wars projects, Thor 5 would take a longer time to develop, around 3 to 4 years at least, with us potentially getting the movie in 2025, the earliest year, according to our educated guessing. But do not be surprised if it takes a little bit more. If Zeus's threat is sufficient evidence, outside of Chris Hemsworth's return to the role, we should also be expecting his daughter, India Hemsworth, to return as well. Natalie Portman is impossible to return, since she dies over the course of Thor Love and Thunder. But the rest of the main and supporting cast can surely return for a 5th movie, including the likes of Taika Waititi's Korg, Tessa Thompson's King Valkyrie, Jamie Alexander's Lady Sif, and Carly Reese's Meek. Another actor who will not be returning to the MCU is Christian Bale's Gorr, who died during the events of the latest movie, with Russell Crowe's Zeus presumably having the chance to return for Hercules' story, with his son Hercules playing a huge role in the upcoming events of the MCU, and with the actor himself, Brett Goldstein, returning for sure. Seeing how the ending of the Thor movie played out, a 5th movie would probably cover Uncle Thor's promise towards love, to take care of her, and to be her guardian. Hercules' introduction to the MCU makes it clear that not everything will be smooth sailing for Thor though. Zeus's instructions towards his son Hercules to make mortals fear and respect the gods again hints toward a terrorizing of humankind, something Thor and Love will not take easy. So a showdown between these gods is expected to take place in the potential movie, which should go hand in hand with their history in the Marvel comics and them being rivals for quite a while and teaming up on multiple occasions too. Something we think will also happen in the MCU, with Hercules not staying a bad guy for long. And the last thing to consider would be the reveal of Valhalla. Heimdall died in Avengers Endgame, but welcomes Jane Foster into the Viking afterlife, which brings the question, will we see either character come back in Thor 5? Only time will tell, but the two are clearly not done with the MCU and would be worthy allies of Thor's in his fight against Zeus and Hercules sometime in the future. On a related note, tell us down in the comments below, what are your thoughts about Thor Love and Thunder? Would you have done something differently and why? And where do you see Thor's journey take him next? Maybe all the way to another Thor standalone movie? Feel free to share your take on everything. But also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you would like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
So, King of Asgard,